Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here today with another sports betting video. Today I'm going to cover my predictions and my personal picks for week 1 of the college football season. If all goes as well, this video will be posted sometime Friday night. Now, notably, if you are betting, make sure you are only going to be betting with money that you are willing to lose. Now, with that underway, I'm going to cover some of the picks, some of the games I really want to highlight here, and my personal thoughts on them. First game that really caught my eye is the noon kickoff tomorrow between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Note that this game is in Boone, North Carolina, so it's going to be in Appalachian State. And a lot of the people, I think, had the same idea I had, where a couple days ago the line was North Carolina by 1.5. Now it's swung the other way. It is now the Mountaineers by 1.5, and I have to concur with that. North Carolina, they played a game last week, and they didn't impress me. You can look at that scoreline and say, but they won 56-24. That's a 32-point win. Well, no, the opponent they played was Florida A&M. Florida A&M, not the best history playing against power conference teams. And also, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes issues at Florida A&M. Half the team was ineligible to play. The players barely decided to play. They almost decided just to forfeit that game. And for wide swaths that game, it looked too close. It didn't look like North Carolina really had a handle on things until the third quarter. And Appalachian State is no slouch. Appalachian State is my personal pick to sneak out and win the Sun Belt East and probably outright the Sun Belt this year. So I think they're just a step above. And with it being a home environment, although I'll expect a lot of powder blue in the seats, I think Appalachian State is going to reign and probably win by around 10 or so points. Now, let's go into one of the bigger games of this week, that being the game between the Oregon Ducks and the Georgia Bulldogs at a quote-unquote neutral site in Atlanta, Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Now, this one was interesting, and it's moved exactly like how I thought it would. The line, when it opened up way back when, it was at 18 points for the Dogs. It has since then climbed a little bit down to 16.5 points, and I fully see why. Look, this is the first game of the season. If you recall last year, the year that Georgia won the national title, they only scored 10 points in their first game, albeit it was against a really good Clemson defense. But at the same time, Georgia does have a tendency to need a game or so to feel out their offense, especially in these types of environments against a ranked team like Oregon. I do not expect Georgia to run on all cylinders the very second the game starts. But I do think Georgia is just going to ultimately be too much. So I think Georgia will win the game. However, I'm leaning towards Oregon beating the spread here. If I had to give a final score here, I think Georgia probably wins this one 24-10, which means also I'm liking the under at 54.5 points as well. But again, I think Dogs win. And Oregon's offense just looks too anemic. Bo Nix isn't going to solve anything. They have to replace their whole running back room. I don't think that Oregon can win a battle in the trenches with the five-star filled lines on both offense and defense that Georgia has. I just think that's going to be too much. Oregon's not going to be able to really get much of a foothold in the game. Another one I've been looking at pretty hard is Cincinnati, Arkansas. That's another 3:30 kickoff. That game will be played in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And the line at the moment is 6.5 points. And I do not know why that's not any larger. Arkansas is returning most of their offensive production. Cincinnati doesn't have Desmond Ridder anymore. I think they're losing a couple key other offensive players as well. And again, hostile environment for the first time in forever, an Arkansas team that actually believes. Previous years, Arkansas was like, oh, here we go again. Let's hope to get 4 wins. This year, this Arkansas team has dark horse aspirations. An Arkansas team, I wouldn't be too surprised if they somehow win 10 games this year. Although I'm leaning more towards an 8 or a 9 win season. But a really satisfactory year. And I think this starts out with not just a beating, but a drubbing of a Cincinnati team that lost their captain. I think Arkansas covers the 6.5 points, and I think they do so pretty easily. And the over and under 54, I would lay off that. I'm not going to bet that. I think the final score will be in the ballpark of something around of like a 35-17 score. So that's a little under, but that's too close to 54 for me to really think worthy to throw money on, And the other game I'm looking at is, of course, the big nightcap, that being Notre Dame versus Ohio State. This game is going to be the college game day game of the week and will be played in Columbus, Ohio. Now, there's two dueling, like right now the narrative is Ohio State has a Heisman candidate quarterback, Heisman candidate running back, Heisman candidate receiver. They're going to run through Notre Dame. And I think in the more likely than not scenario where Ohio State wins this one in a blowout, I think that's going to be a big part of the narrative. But a dueling narrative, I think we'll start to see, especially when people have some time to think about it, is the fact that this Notre Dame team just isn't really going to be that good. Usually in years where Notre Dame starts the year seated this high, they tend to disappoint. And I look at this team and I don't see any reason why they can hang in this game. Like, I'm really seriously thinking this will be a final score in the ballpark of like a 44-10, 44-7, like absolute drubbing favoring Ohio State. I think they'll win pretty easily. The over and under is 59.5. I don't have enough opinion to really tip the scales on that one. And I guess while I'm here, we'll cover the two games not on Saturday. That being the first one being Florida State LSU. That game will be played at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. And that's the thing I want to emphasize here. It is in New Orleans. Bunch of crazy rabid Tiger fans are going to be there. I don't think Florida State can handle that type of environment on the road. Florida State is getting better as a team. I don't think they're in win clutch game good yet. So, although LSU definitely has questions of their own, I think they easily cover the 3-point spread here. Just because it's at home. Oh, it's basically a home game. And that's part of the reason why I think Georgia will reign over Oregon too. Yeah, it's a neutral site, but it's in Atlanta. It's going to be 90% red and black, barking fans in there. It's not going to be a pleasant environment for the Oregon Ducks to play in. And the last game, Labor Day night, that being another game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium between Clemson and Georgia Tech. This is actually scheduled as a home game for Georgia Tech because it's a conference game and home, but Georgia Tech, I could tell you from personal experience, going to games in the Southeast, Georgia Tech does not have that large fan base. Mercedes-Benz Stadium will be at least 70, if not like 90% Clemson fans. So a lot of orange, a lot of white, a lot of purple going to be in there. And the line's at 23.5. Clemson has their questions. Is DJ Ogulele going to take that step up? Maybe, maybe not. But he is not going to look bad against this Georgia Tech team that is searching for problems. The Georgia Tech team, I'm not even sure gets to 2 wins this year. I think even with a line at 23.5 points, I'm pretty confident saying that Clemson covers that. It was 21 points a couple weeks ago, but I think Clemson covers that. So as a summation of my predictions for this week, going backwards, I have Clemson covering, LSU covering, Ohio State covering, Oregon beating the spread, and I have Appalachian State covering. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments, leave your opinions down below. Are you as excited for the college football season as I am? I am the Super Orange Cat, and that is all.